Welcome you again to Football Sutra, discussing the managerial crisis in Manchester United. Now that they don't have their captain steering the ship, Ruben Amorim is acting like a co-pilot. Today was an important match. This week it was a crucial week for Manchester United. Even though I would say they don't really care about how Van Nistelrooy does, they'll still go for Amorim. Ruben Amorim is a good manager, has been doing good since he joined Sporting. They've been winning a lot of matches. They've been winning the leagues more often, but I still wouldn't say it's going to be a very good very good choice. It'll be a downgrade for sure, for me at least, in my opinion. Okay, my opinions are my own, and I believe Ruben Amorim is not as good as Ten Hag, and he'll be a downgrade on Ten Hag. Now I'll tell you why. When Erik Ten Hag was in Ajax, both Amorim's Sporting and Ten Hag's Ajax, they had a couple of matches against each other. So in the last two matches between Ten Hag's Ajax and Amorim's Sporting, Ten Hag clearly outclassed Amorim in both the matches. The first match he won 5-1 and the other one won 4-2. In both the matches he had Mazurai, he had Martinez, he had Antony. He had players that he was managing at United, which of course he signed. Tactically speaking, Ten Hag, though I don't understand what his plan with Manchester United was or whatever his plan was, maybe he wasn't succeeding. He needed a change of plan. He needed a change of tactic. But anyways, he's out now. But what I'm trying to say is when he was at United, it didn't work out. If you talk about the tactical battle between them when it happened, Erik Ten Hag outclassed him. And it was not just a defeat, it was a slaughtering 5-1 and 4-2. Erik Ten Hag is, if you compare them both just with these two matches, Erik Ten Hag is a better manager and he outclassed Amorim in both the matches. This is my take on that. Now let's talk about what Amorim has done in Sporting. Of course, winning the leagues since Amorim joined, Sporting has been winning more. Otherwise, Benfica and Porto were the ones that were dominating the Portugal league. Amorim has won Liga Portugal, which he won in 2023-2024 season. This was the last season. He also won it in 2020 and 2021 season. So he's won it twice for them. He won a Super Cup in 2021 and 2022 season. Also the players, now this is a positive on Amorim, is that the players that have been playing for his Sporting. So the first one that I want to discuss is a wing back. His name is Pedro Porro. I don't know how you pronounce it, but he's a player. He's been very good. He's been very consistent for Spurs. A good player, matured. He played under Amorim initially. Another crucial one is João Palhinha. So this João Palhinha is now at Bayern. Of course, he was too good for Fulham, so they sold him to Bayern, and Bayern was after him. Another player that matured into a very good player. And another player is Nuno Mendes, PSG, again playing really well, a good player. Matheus Nunes, that has been signed by City recently, is also another good player. Now these are certain players that have played under Amorim and they nurtured into some good players. Now let's talk about Erik Ten Hag's squad. So he had De Ligt, he had Mazurai. De Ligt also played for Bayern and Juventus and big clubs. Then Mazurai also was playing for Bayern Munich. And then Antony, of course, he has been a failure so far. I don't know what went wrong, but he's a very good player. I personally like him a lot. Martinez has been a success. So these are some players that have done good that played under Erik Ten Hag. Okay, another player that I want to mention that I almost forgot that played under Amorim is Ugarte. So if Amorim joins in, Ugarte might have an old relationship with him, might have a good communication, or I don't know, it might benefit Ugarte. I believe so, because he's played before. He signed for PSG. He was playing for his Sporting. Why I don't want him to sign for United is because I believe he's just a good manager, okay, not a fantastic manager, or not a manager that can do the job. The managers that I talked about in the previous video, I want someone who had a team that was an underdog and he either brought them to Champions League spot or won the league with them, something like that. Like McKenna I mentioned, though McKenna is not my choice because McKenna has still a lot of things to prove, but doing something like that. my list of managers, okay, I might be criticized for choosing such managers which you probably are not very familiar with. One of them is that his name is Christophe Galtier. Now in the French league, there's a club called Lille. He was managing this club. That's where he got his name from because he was doing a good job with them. He won the League One with them after I don't know a lot of years. Lille won the league. PSG was dominating all along all those years, and all of a sudden he ended up winning the league in 2020-2021 season. He won the league with Lille. Now PSG thought he's a good manager and he did a good job with Lille. They thought, why not sign him? So they signed him and he won the league with them in 2022-2023 season. After this, he became a ghost because of course he went to Qatar, and Qatar is not a place where you hear a lot about football. Of course, I'm going to come to that as well, but Qatar is not like English Premier League or the European leagues. You get a lot of exposure. People notice you more when you're managing clubs in Europe. He went to Qatar, started managing Al Duhail SC, which is a Qatarian club, which is a Qatari club rather. Now this club has been doing good. It's on the number one spot. He's going to win this Qatari league with them, very likely. This is the guy I'm talking about. Starting with Lille and winning the league with them, a small club, build it, and even now, the players that he was managing, he was the one who nurtured these players, and now they're still doing good. Lille is still in the Champions League spot. If they continue this way, they'll end up being in the Champions League spot. I wouldn't say they'll win the league, but they are in a good spot. Another good manager that I'd say that can be the one, those ones that I'm talking about, the ones that will bring the underdogs to the limelight. One of them is Xavi. So this is my favorite pick. Of course, the favorite pick that I would have chosen is unavailable. I'll come to that as well. My favorite pick amongst the managers that might be available is Xavi. Now you'd say he just managed Barcelona. Before that, he was also in the Qatari league. He was managing Al Sadd. Let's first discuss about the Qatari league. So Xavi with Al Sadd initially won a lot of trophies. He has a lot of achievements with Al Sadd, but then Barcelona, of course, invited him to be their manager, and he loves Barcelona. He joined Barcelona when Barcelona was effed up, was in a very bad situation, a very bad condition. He was the one that fixed Barcelona, not Hansi Flick. Hansi Flick is doing a good job. Okay, he's managing a very good club, but he wasn't the one who fixed Barcelona. Xavi was the one who fixed Barcelona. Barcelona was into shambles. They didn't have no money to buy players. Heck, they didn't even have money to pay the salaries, the Frankie de Jong saga. So Barcelona, when they didn't have money to buy players, what this guy did was he signed some players like Lewandowski on a free transfer, one or two players more, like Rafinha was his signing, Lewandowski was his signing, Martin is the guy who's playing very well at the back was his signing, and he introduced all the teenagers that are playing for Barcelona. He was the guy who did. Let's talk about Lamine Yamal, 17-year-old prodigy. He's doing very well, right? He's one of the best youngsters at present. He was the one who introduced him. Then we talk about Marc Casado, who's been really good, 17-year-old again. He's the one who introduced it. Alex Balde, he's the one who introduced it, 21 years old. Pau Cabarsi, again, another player who he introduced, 17-year-old. Marc Bernal, who's injured, 17-year-old. Gavi, 20 years old. He's the one who nurtured him. So all these players, from signing players like Rafinha, Lewandowski, Martinez, to nurturing the young talent. Of course, now Hansi Flick has more experience, so he's reaping the best of all these young kids and the team that was initially. If Xavi would have gotten more time, he would have done very good too. Not the same, I would say, as Hansi Flick, but he would have done very good with them because these kids, these players, they're maturing with time, and so is their game. So this is my manager. He developed players. He gave them the name that they have now. The fame that they have now is because he gave them the start. He brought them from the academy. So at times you see the players who have so much potential, but they get stuck in the academy phase because nobody brings them to the senior team. Because senior team is all about giving chances, opportunities, where they get more experience and the confidence, and then they start playing very good, very well, like Lamine Yamal. This is my manager that I'll pick for now who's available. Now, the manager that I'd say is one of the best managers for me is Antonio Conte, who is not available, who is on the first spot with 25 points in Serie A. I don't think he'll leave, but he's one of the best managers. Now, you'd ask me why. Everywhere where he's gone, he has changed the gameplay of the team, the tactical play of the team. He has instilled his own style in the club, in the way the club plays, and with that style, he has won the leagues. With Chelsea in 16-17, he won Premier League in the 16-17 season. Then he won FA Cup in 17-18. Then he left Chelsea. Then he came to Inter, made Inter strong. He won after 11 years. Inter won in 2020-2021 season. Inter won the Serie A title after 11 years. So, of course, this guy came to Inter Milan. Forget about just making them strong. He bought them the trophy, the Serie A trophy the Juventus have been dominating for years. He was the guy who made them win it after 11 years. This is the guy I'm talking about. This is what a real winner is. A real coach is. You see his games. He was in Premier League. He saw some players that he really liked, like McTominay, like Gilmore, like Anguissa. They're all his midfield are players who used to play for Premier League clubs. Lukaku, he of course managed Lukaku in Chelsea, and I think in Inter as well. He again got him because he likes Lukaku. Lukaku under him is scoring goals. So players also get better under him. So this is my manager. He has won 3 Serie A title with Juventus. Then he has won 1 with Inter. He has won with Chelsea, the title, Premier League title. He has won FA Cup as well. He just didn't win anything with Spurs because Spurs and him just didn't get along. It was a different story. But he was also doing a good job with Spurs. Spurs just needed to be patient with him, which they weren't. So that's the reason why it didn't work out between them. And they broke up. Coming to the point, the managers that are available at the moment, out of all these managers available, I think Amorim and Xavi are the 2 managers that I think Amorim would leave is okay. He's already agreed with the personal terms with United. They have to pay 10 million for Amorim to, of course, I think that's his exit clause, that's his payout clause. They have to pay 10 million. So what I was thinking about Manchester United is, what if they don't sign him? What if they just go on with this season, with the rest of the season with Van Nistelrooy? He won today, and if you saw the match, Manchester United won 5-2 against Leicester, who's also playing in the Premier League. So if you'd see Manchester United playing against even the worst club of Premier League, they don't win that well. But today, at every move, they were able to either take a shot on the goal or just completing the moves. I really like that about Manchester United today. Casemiro was lethal today. He could have scored a hat trick, but his header was again stopped by the keeper. He was unlucky today, but he scored 2 beautiful goals. So the first one was an amazing peach of a shot, top right corner. Yeah, it was the right corner, top right corner, perfect. Hitting the pole and then the ball going in, no chance for the keeper. That was the first goal. The second one was his header, and then on a rebound he scored a goal. Then Garnacho was amazing. Rashford was amazing. Bruno Fernandes scored his brace after a long time. So Bruno Fernandes was amazing. I don't know if he made some tactical changes. It didn't look like there were much changes, but there was certainly something that he told the players, and the players were able to complete the moves. They were able to the gameplay looked more complete to me. The passing and the one touch plays between 2 players, it was amazing. So I think it was a positive today in the FA Cup. Now they have Tottenham Hotspurs. They have to play against Spurs. Let's see how it goes, but I would say just give him a chance. Let him coach the team for as many matches as possible. Unless the team doesn't do poorly, like let's say they lose all the 3-4 matches, or they lose the 3-4 matches in a row, I don't think it's required for me to sign Amorim. Let's give this team a chance. I would say it'll also save us money, and I want to see how Van Nistelrooy does, and then later on, if he doesn't do good, you can sign a manager, not Amorim, please.